Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today I'm going to be talking about something that we probably are all going to agree on, but I kind of just want to highlight it using some stats up here, just to show just kind of like the stagnant place we are in DBD and why I so often advocate for things to be shaken up. So the whole purpose of this is that DBD needs a huge, and I mean huge perk shakeup. I'm not saying only nerf Dead Hard or only nerf Pop. We need to tackle the way the game is played fundamentally right now and dismantle every aspect of it. Like, period. The reason I say this is because the perks that are most often used, which you're seeing up in the top left-hand corner, these perks have been used ever since they have been released. A lot of these perks often have never had a bad version of them exist. So essentially, since their releases, almost every single one of these perks have been used consistently across the meta. And you can understand that this game came out in 2016. This game is going to be 6 years old. 6 years old this year, 6 years old. And nevertheless of the fact that the game is so old, 6 years old, for 6 years, the perks you're seeing at the top left, besides, well, Circle of Healing and Scourge Pain Resonance, have been the meta of the game. Some of these didn't come out till like 2017, some didn't come out till like 2018, but for the most part, most of these perks have been in meta, been in play since the chapter that brought their characters and their perks into the game. These have been meta ever since. And that is why so much of Dead by Daylight feels so boring to play and so awful to play, especially for veteran players, is because the game, despite being asymmetrical, is truly not actually asymmetrical. Because basically, especially with the survivor side of things, survivors are just skins. At least killers have different perk powers going on that kind of make them play differently. But survivors are essentially a skin, like 20, I wonder how many survivors are there now? 28, 26, 28, something like that. 20 plus characters that just, it's just one character with 20 plus skins, right? That turn them into different people. So, especially on the killer side of things are getting very, very exhausting, which is why I think you're seeing the killer population like get so low, is because you can only fight Dead Hard, Borrow Time, Iron Will, DS, Spine Chill, Self-Care, etc. for so long before you're just like, oh my god, I'm just like playing the same match over and over. Like, you may get different maps that affect the way the game is played, but like, for the most part, you're kind of just fighting the same person over and over. There may be a different username behind each person, but you see BT, Dead Hard, Iron Will, DS, Unbreakable, and all this stuff like all the time, right? Like you see these perks all the time. So like, even though like there's only so much you can do as a survivor to play differently. So essentially, it comes down to perks. And when the perks have been the same for years and years and years and years, it really starts to feel like you're just fighting the same people all the time. And that's just asking for burnout. And that burnout has happened to so many people. And even on the killer side of things, like how long have we, like, barbecue's a different case. Barbecue is run the way it is at number one because it has a blood point component to it. that's BBQ, barbecue, and chili. Bless your heart. You're kind of like not part of this conversation because you're the most run mostly because you're fixing the blood point grind problem and not because you're like actually any sort of meta helpfulness, you know. But Pop, Ruin, No Way Out. No one escapes death, Corrupt Intervention. These have been perks that you've been seeing on killers for years. Absolutely been seeing on killers for years. And it's just like, at what point do you say, man, this is just awful? This is just stale. Like, the game and the way it's been played has been the same for literal years. Like in this time that I've been checking this website, which is Nightlight, by the way, that's the name of the website. In the time I have checked this website, which has been like about a year, this is how it's looked. Like, the only things that have been different have been, you know, Scourge Pain Resonance and Circle of Healing. These have been the perks that have been on this front page with the most used perks basically the entire time I've been checking this website. The meta of your game has been the same for a full year. Besides two perks. Most other games, when they go through meta changes, they change a lot. They fundamentally change a lot of things. Like, Like there are some, characters, perks that will stay mostly strong, but go through a lot of different changes. But with this has been the same for years, and they just don't care. And it's like you're in this situation that if you want people to play your game long term, you need to have the game actually feel asymmetrical. You actually have to have the game feel like each match is different enough that it doesn't feel like it's being played the same game over and over and over again. And they've just really failed to do that. That's where they've really screwed up. And I feel like that's where a lot of other asymmetrical games are going to step in and really start giving DBD a hard time, is because DBD's unwillingness to really shake up their meta and make their game exciting and different patch to patch is really I don't know. It's really not doing a whole lot. Sadako dropped, and none of her perks ended up being meta, and none of Yoichi's perks ended up being meta, and she didn't end up being that strong. So you're really not seeing a whole lot of Sadako because she's low tier and her perks weren't even that good. And you're not seeing a lot of people make builds around Yoichi's survivor perks. So even though the release of Sadako was exciting, especially if you liked The Ring, which is a very fantastic movie. It should be still on YouTube with subtitles, so if you want to watch it, go ahead. It's a very good movie. But essentially, even though that was a big exciting release, we're a month out and it's just it didn't even happen, And that the same thing with the artist, right? Same thing with the artist. Besides Scourgehook Pain Resonance, nobody's really playing the artist. Nobody's really running her perks besides Pain Resonance. Jonah's perks aren't really being run. Nobody's really playing Jonah because his lore was terrible. It's like that chapter didn't even happen. Chapter releases in their current form are just not mixing up the game enough anymore. They're just really not. They're just not doing enough to mix up the game. And you need to tackle its core. You need to go to the heart of the problem, which is the fact that the top perks that you're seeing right here have been that way for years. You need to shake this up fundamentally. You should see maybe half, and that's being generous, maybe half of these. You should see maybe half of these still meta, and then just remove the rest. Just I'm not saying make them unusable, but just destroy them. Take them out of the S tier and drop them into the B tier. That way we can actually have the game feel fresh again. And I mean it. Yeah, I feel like I'm beating the heck out of the obvious here with this one, but I did want to kind of give you these numbers here because some of them are pretty startling, like Dead Heart almost being used 10% more than Borrow Time. That's how effective it is. That's almost half, 45%, almost half of the survivor base using it. I don't think I need to say anything else. It's pretty miserable. But yeah, which perk out of these do you think you would like to see nerfed the most? Which one of these would you like to see most taken out of circulation? I have a strong feeling I know what you're going to say, but I'm kind of interested either way. But thank you so much for spending time with me today, friendos, and hopefully I'll see you in tomorrow's video. And if I don't, I'll see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.